Order now at macros.com.au.
Welcome to GTV ANZ, the gaming channel created by Ubisoft. Every Tuesday and Friday on YouTube, we'll be doing fast plays, game challenges, 1v1 face-offs, and so much more. You happy?
When did we get a dog?
It's a good question.
I'm running out of time. I'm running out of feeling so. I'm running out of time.
And now, it's all on the save. The player heroic.
Jokes. It's Playday 4 of the Oceanic Nationals here for Stage 3. Last night threw up so many twists and turns, guys. I hope very much it's going to be the same tonight. And of course, Vast, as always, looking absolutely lovely with his best Def Marta impression with that shirt. Guys, yesterday, of course, was the talk of the town. So many upsets, and it was fascinating to watch it play out, guys.
Yeah. Last night was a little bit hectic. I managed to catch a couple of the matches. The standout, I think, from last night, though, had to have been Overt. They took down Order 7. 8-7. I thought it was 7-2, but I was looking at the wildcard result from the Playday Prime. But no, yeah, that match went to OT, 8-7. But a lot of great matches across the board. That does shape up the standings really, really nicely. But honestly, as I work my way down, it kind of is shaping up as we would expect, albeit maybe Order being last, a little bit of an upset.
Well, I mean, I would probably say the bottom 5 definitely is all still sort of jumbled around. The top 3 definitely expected Bliss, Chiefs, Knights to be in those sort of positions. But Vast, of course, you were on the broadcast yesterday. I really want your thoughts as to how it all played out.
Yes, yesterday was a really strange day of Siege. It was very tough on my predictions. I think the bottom 3 games, maybe the scoreline doesn't reflect it, but I think they were, I mean, I wouldn't call maybe Bliss an upset, but maybe in the fashion that they won, like just winning 4 rounds in a row from the start was very uncharacteristic for the Chiefs to kind of beat down like that. I think Rhythm, I mean, we did expect Ruffle kind of to win that game. I expected Ruffle to win that game, but we, I think we saw kind of Ruffle not really, I don't know, play to like beat Rhythm. They kind of just, I don't know, played their own game, and you know, Rhythm deserved to win that game. You know, they actually played some pretty decent Siege.
Yeah, they certainly did. And of course, yesterday was the day of Oregon, 3 out of the 4 games played. Let's have a look, though, of course, to today's matches. Enough about the past, that's what it is. It's in the past. Moving forward, though, we've got our own big day ahead of us. Wildcard versus Rhythm. So many ramifications there. I'm sure Guz will want to sort of dissect that one in a minute when we do get to breaking down that match. Then you got Chiefs versus Order. That's probably one that a couple of weeks ago, we would have looked at this one. Vast, I'll go to you on this one because it's the Chiefs. But a couple of weeks ago, we would have looked at this as like a sort of maybe battle of the top. Where's Order really at? Well, where they're at is at the bottom. Coming into this matchup, you'd have to expect the Chiefs to win.
I would have to expect that. I mean, I totally agree with you. A couple of weeks ago, I would have been a bit more on the fence. I would have been a bit more like, kind of depends what map we see. I think last night was just a bit of a hiccup for the Chiefs. I don't think there was any real glaring issues in the way they were playing. I think the biggest issue was maybe a bit of a mental thing. For me, it kind of seemed like a bit of a comm issue, but I guess we'll kind of talk a bit more about that later. I think if kind of Chiefs go to their strong maps, I think, yeah, this will be a pretty convincing win for them.
And of course, guys, Rufflecopter versus the Knights. That's the next one to follow. Big match in itself for Rufflecopter, needing to bounce back. They, of course, had a bit of an unexpected loss yesterday to Rhythm. And then Avert versus Bliss to close out the night for Playday. For, of course, Avert have just been absolutely fantastic since coming into the OCN. They've got 2 wins now, 1 in regulation, 1 in overtime. But we kind of bring it back a little bit. Overall, today's matches, I think, definitely sort of highlighting that we're in that middle section of the stage now, aren't we? And that really you are in that position now where if you're fighting for the top, you got to find wins. If you're fighting for the bottom, you got to find wins. Speaking of finding things, let's go and have a look at our match of the day and see where we're going to find for that matchup. I believe it is Chiefs versus... No, I'm not sure actually who it is because I've got it wrong on the run of shot. I was like, Chiefs versus Bliss? No, that was yesterday. It's Rufflecopter versus Knights. There you go. Even I was a little bit surprised. But guys, this is a pretty good matchup. Of course, the Knights definitely the favorites coming into it. For Ruffle, they need to bounce back.
Yeah, the Knights favorites in most of their matches, but for whatever reason in OCN, time and time again, they do fail to step up and they don't necessarily play as strong as they do over in APAC South. That said, they should have their number against Ruffle, who are going through a bit of turmoil, maybe at the moment is one way to describe it. Of course, losing to Rhythm in the fashion that they did last night, a 7-3 loss, has to be pretty devastating for them. They narrowly lost to Bliss in overtime the Playday prior to that as well. So yeah, heading into that one, we're expecting the Knights to win, but who knows, maybe maybe Ruffle can bounce back.
Let's go to the snowball predictions, which, well, I think we're all pretty much in the bin after yesterday, and yeah, it's shaping up to be that way. 8-4 is our leading scoreline. Of course, Guz, Manic, and as well with Repel. Down the very bottom though, 4 and 8 by himself by the length of the Flemington Straight, Mr. Dev Marta. He's gone a little bit safer today, but Vast, I think really what this has sort of shown is that for stage 3 of OCN, it's been a tough one to predict.
Yeah, I think yesterday was really hard to predict. I think Dev, to be honest, has just been kind of sucking with his predictions. I don't know, everyone looks kind of pretty comfortable except for him.
Well, he's gone a little bit safer today, though, so he's got actually the exact same as me. I don't know if I should be worried here, guys. Yeah, we probably should be a little bit worried. Manic's gone for the Brave picks in Rufflecopter and Avert. In fact, a couple of little Rufflecopter picks there. Vast has gone for Ruffle. You got Ducky going for Ruffle, so therefore Ruffle's probably going to lose. And then 2 Avert picks as well, Manic and Sky. But overall, it's always a bit of fun. But guys, you know, it really does sort of highlight. I think... I can't remember if it was stage 2 or stage 1. One of the stages for OCN was a very easy kind of stage to predict. We all had a very good scoreline. But for stage 3, it's almost like APAC South kind of numbers.
Yeah, it's been a little bit tricky. I do look forward to claiming the crown from Manic tonight, no doubt. Knights will win, so I'll get a lead on him. And then for whatever reason, he went Avert. I don't know if that was a mistake. Maybe it has to be a mistake in the graphic. There is no way he would pick them over Bliss. But yeah, I'll definitely get a 2-point lead after tonight, which is exciting. But yeah, across the board has been a little bit tougher than we'd probably expect.
Let's go to our first matchup of the day. It's not quite match of the day, unless you're Guz, because I'm sure, Guz, you would have this as your match of the day. Tell us why.
Yeah, this is such a huge matchup. Now, cast our minds back to the start of the year. If you would have said to me, Wildcard versus Rhythm in stage 3 is going to be an important matchup, I wouldn't laugh at you. I'd run away from you because I'd be disgusted. But we head into stage 3, and both of these teams are teetering on the edge of relegations. Now, heading into this Playday, both teams have 1 win in that W column. That means that, let's assume neither of these teams win a match for the rest of the stage. This head-to-head is going to be critically important. So this is such a huge matchup for both rosters.
Let's go and have a look at the wildcard lineup here. And of course, Vast, this is a team that is starting to, I guess, refine a bit of their feet, refine a bit of form. They're looking pretty good, and we'll definitely go into this matchup as the favorites.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you there. I would consider them the favorites here. They have slowly started to find a bit of form. I'm still not convinced just yet, but I think they look like they really have worked on a lot of their issues over the stage 2 to stage 3. And yeah, I just think they're playing really good Siege, and it's really cool kind of seeing a team like this, seeing the process that they're going through to get out of a slump and a situation like that. Yeah, I'm excited to see what's in store for them. It is, as Gus put it as well, it is kind of crazy that they need to beat Rhythm. Like, they really need these points today. I totally agree there. It's just a weird timeline that we're in right now for stage 3, but I think it just, I don't know, creates a really interesting storyline. Puts a bit of pressure on them, I can't lie, but I think that they can overcome those odds.
Well, just quickly, guys, I'm assuming you pretty much agree with the sentiment there, Vast.
Yeah, 100%. One thing to note, Wildcard do take on Overt in the next Playday, so you could make the assumption that, you know, they're a little bit safe. They don't have to win this matchup, but I still think this is a must-win for them. Not only is it, you know, statistically very important for them, but it is also a big mental hump to just be able to get over. Like, this is a team with these players 100% every day should be beating Rhythm. So yeah, Wildcard, the favorites, but again, they need to get over those mental hurdles.
I love, I don't know if this is going out to the stream or not, but it's just a complete full screen face cam. Love it, right into the faces of Wildcard. Let's look at their opponents though. Of course, Rhythm. What a story from them yesterday off the back of their win against Rufflecopter, and really kind of set up, I guess, the campaign for stage 3. They're a team that has had already 2 heartbreaking 7-5 losses, 1 to Bliss, then 1 to Avert. They should have maybe even won that sort of game. Of course, Avert played amazingly, but Vast, had Rhythm been able to beat Avert, then maybe been able to beat Wildcard tonight, they could have really had their own destiny in their hands. It's still kind of a little bit out of their hands, but winning tonight would go a long way.
Yeah, winning tonight would go a long way. I think Gould touched in his interview last night that they kind of underestimated Overt, maybe didn't give them enough credit. So I think that's a pretty big mistake. That was a really important game for them to win. But you know, there is
What?
He did that last night as well. I don't really, yeah, I don't really know what's going on there. But
That's an Atletico jersey on Gould, that's on the right.
no
Is that because they're playing Wildcard? Anyway,
that's
sorry,
really awesome. No, that's fine. My point was, I think last night, you know, the season wasn't over, and I think last night they got a win, and you know, there's still a chance for them to really make the comeback. The ball's in their court. It's really how they go on from here, their mentality, and yeah, I think it's very possible, very doable for them to do it.
Guys, I guess looking at Rhythm, they've already had some heartbreaking losses. They've now got that breakthrough win against Rufflecopter. Really coming into this matchup, they're perfectly poised to make it 2 wins in a row for a team that hadn't found a win in the entirety of stage 2.
Yeah, they're definitely in a decent position. And again, important to remember, Rhythm's get out of jail free card to avoid the relegation run is to finish higher than Wildcard in the standings. Winning this matchup will not secure that. We've still got half the rest of the stage to go, but it will go a long way in helping in that head-to-head. And like I said, with Wildcard taking on Overt next week, or next Playday rather, and that arguably being a bit of a free game, some may even say that Rhythm taking on Order in the next Playday, the slump that Order going through, you could well make the assertion that that could also be a win. So again, places greater emphasis on this matchup we have here. And yeah, Rhythm seemingly in a bit of a honeymoon period at the moment, might be able to find something here.
Let's go and have a look at the map vetoes for this particular match between Wildcard and Rhythm, see where we're heading. And lo and behold, it's Oregon continuing on from yesterday's matches. That's now 4 from 5 matches, guys. Oregon, we head to. I want your thoughts, because I'm pretty certain we just actually saw, of course, the highlight clip of the day coming into it. The lead-in match was Rhythm versus Wildcard on Oregon. It was 8-7. I guess at the end of the day, Rhythm want that repeat.
Yeah, that match taking place, of course, OCN Stage 2. That was the 19th of June, so that was a while ago. I think I still had my crappy beard back then. Finally got rid of that. In terms of the scoreline, was 8-7. Wildcard, though, should have closed out that match. I don't know if you remember Xenox, but that clutch, the Frost, I think it was it Drex or
Novax?
Yeah, I can't remember who it was. Yeah, Novax, that's who it was. Crouched in the corner, managed to find like a 3K, and they stretched it out to OT. They didn't get the win at the end of the day, but yeah, Wildcard did look better on the day. If they can replicate that form here, then they should be the stronger team. And I don't think we really expected, I don't know, Vast, if you maybe did expect, but I didn't really expect any other crazy maps to be brought up for a match like this.
Yeah, I kind of expected these bans from Wildcard and Rhythm. I was actually kind of hoping that Rhythm would take Wildcard to bank. I'm not sure if they've practiced it. I'm sure they have practiced it a few times. But I think that map could really favor their play style. They really like to kind of play more anchory and not really, roam and play aggressive. And I think that map could favor them. Seems like they, didn't want any of it. But Oregon, yeah, I was kind of expecting it. And I'm really glad that Rhythm went to Oregon because, I don't know, for whatever reason, it's just their map that they're really comfortable on. They have some really interesting strats on it. I don't know if you guys watched it last night. I think, Guz, you did. They had some interesting, like, T3 holds. Had, like, a real interesting master roam that was, or setup, I should say, that was kind of cool with, like, the shield. So, yeah, I think this is a map that works well for them. For Wildcard, though, they kind of looked a little bit shaky against Knights. Like, there was just small things that I noticed that they weren't doing quite well. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but when I was watching the game, I kind of just thought that they maybe needed a bit more time and practice on Oregon to kind of iron out those small mistakes. But, I guess they're kind of happy to take that risk today.
To be fair, I guess in that scenario, it's their opponent that also needs to be taken into account for Wildcard's sake, playing against the Knights on Oregon. So I guess we've got to get your final thoughts fast before we let you go.
I'm pretty confident that Wildcard will win this, even though Rhythm played it really well last night. I just think that, despite kind of Wildcard's performance last night, they still looked really good. I think it will be very important for Wildcard to start off strong. We saw last night they lost like 3 rounds in a row on their defenses, kind of like a similar cheat, like what happened with Chiefs. Tonight they need to really be switched on and start from the beginning. They can't afford to, lose 3 rounds like that. But yeah, I'm still confident in my decision. I hope I get my predictions right tonight. I don't know. If I get them all wrong tonight, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to...
Oh, we'll fight you. That's all right.
I think a lot of us went for Wildcard.
I can't lose to Dev.
I don't think it's possible at this point. He's too far gone. He's down the bottom. We're going to let you go, Vast. Thank you very much. Of course, we'll get you back later on. For now, though, we head to Oregon for our first match of the night for Playday 4 Wildcard versus Rhythm. So much on the line, not just for this stage, but the promos and the rallos and everything in between. Can Rhythm find their second win in 2 nights where they struggled for so long, Guz, to even find just one?
Such a big matchup, and the potential for one of these teams to lock themselves into relegations if the rest of the stage doesn't go their way. It could come down to this very head-to-head. Big matchup. Rhythm starting out on the attack gives Wildcard free reign on the first defensive ban, or attacking ban rather, as they start on the defense. Habana off the board first, limiting some of that hatch play. I would assume that's going to be in tandem with maybe, a Thatcher. I was going to say Thatcher or Flores, typical of Oregon, so nothing standing out so far in that department.
Of course, we saw a lot of Oregon last night here at OCN, and wouldn't be too surprised if we see maybe a lot more of it again tonight. It's just seemingly the map of the stage. Not too surprising. We were sort of talking about it a little bit off air. It's kind of like the new Clubhouse, despite Clubhouse still being here and not really changed that much. Goyo and Mira banned out. No real surprises with that one. I mean, you could make a case maybe for Goyo, I guess. It does also leave the Valkyrie available and Kaid, 2 more notably banned operators here on the defense for Oregon. Speaking of being on the defense, Wildcard will be defending first. Rhythm will be on the attack.
Yep, and as always, with Thatcher being unavailable and Kaid being available, that means that Maverick is basically going to be a must pick. Maybe not necessarily for second floor attacks, but most definitely for basement, and being the first round. Rhythm don't really have a great indication as what that site is going to be, so Jax will fulfill that role, at least for now. And Maverick, I mean, even as a safety, is still pretty strong. 2 frag grenades offers a lot to the team. Either way, as you mentioned as well, Jake, Valk available, and Gio going to 6-pick, actually, funnily enough, off the Kaid onto her. Because it is top floor, so you don't really need Kaid.
Yeah, and the other thing to note as well, I mean, we're going to kids' dorms immediately, right? Teams sort of, I guess, wanting to change things up a little bit on a map that we see so much of. Typically, it's basement, it's laundry supply that we do head to, but kids' dorms, it's the site that matters the most, and why not go to it straight away if you're Wildcard? The HP Omen community vote 54% to 46%, and that's probably about right. you know, that sort of 55-45. No, I think it really is, honestly. Rhythm have to have a little bit of respect coming into this based off of the way they played last night. And Wildcard, I don't know, have they still been able to find their form consistently, or is it just, you know, a little bit of hit and miss every now and then for them? Are they going to have a couple of good games and then go back to the way they were in Stage 2? Remains to be seen.
I'll be honest, despite picking Wildcard for the snowball prediction, I did actually pick Rhythm on the Twitter poll because I didn't think they were going to get many votes, but clearly the Rhythm fandom is still very strong. I know they yeah, get some love in the chat, which is always nice. Now, in terms of this round, we are seeing, again, a pretty standard lineup from the attack. Double hard breach, and I assume Drex will probably start off on Big Tower, open up in towards Attic. Should be pretty free real estate. Milo is playing the mute, but those jammers pretty easy to clear from down below if required. And I mean, yeah, Drex is going to play this position anyway. Coverage from AFX offered. Double mute jammered by Milo, but again, Drex will get that for free, and Vinny will be under pressure relatively soon. Downstairs as well. Dragos can clear that utility, and that's pretty good timing so far from Rhythm.
Reloading.
Yeah, and for a site like Dorms as well, time and time efficiency is going to be so important. Most of the time, we don't see too many different takes. And I think most recently, the more favorite approach has been opening up this game's wall, an attic push, and then eventually maybe late in the round towards White Stairs. But even then, I think it's mostly just opening up this game's wall and attic. In the past, we used to see a lot more big window. We don't see that quite as often anymore. That is, I guess, one less variety to worry about for the defenders, but this attic wall is going to be opened up with ease, as you said. Been at 15, though. Rhythm probably need to get a bit of a wriggle on.
Something used from Ghoul here to actually create a line of sight in towards attic. Not an entry point just yet, but there is still one summer in the pocket that can be used to achieve that. That will allow Rhythm to flush out Pit and really put pressure on the likes of Vinny, holding kids behind that deployable shield. Now, the nade doesn't quite hit, or at least Drex doesn't throw it yet. I think it may have been caught there by the magnet, or at least some projectiles are leaving that shield standing. As I said that, it is taken down, and Vinny now needs to play in the corner. Milo is down below with the Nitro self-plant denial, but this entry from Rhythm, if it isn't held on here by Wildcard, it could get a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, and even though Vinny doesn't have that shield, still in that corner position, he's got a decent sightline towards Pit, so he still has a lot that he can do. No kills yet. Certainly feels like it's favoring Wildcard right now, just based on the way that Rhythm are positioned. They're going to end up funneling in through attic, and it's just going to be a bit of a slaughter here. As long as Vinny hits his shots, he does get flashed out. That's the smart play. Emerin just making sure no one comes in from big window. Ghoul does get that kill onto Vinny, opens things up. Milo down below with the C4. Somehow misses. Ghoul's going to be able to stick this plant. That's going to be down, and Rhythm have been able to find the kills to go along with this as well. Emerin now with just Moloska alongside him in a 2 versus 4.
Milo now bot white, needs to try and rotate above, but Rhythm have that rotation cut off. Both players choked out here on the side of the defense. Rhythm playing so passive, wasting time, knowing that 25 seconds left on that fuse. Wildcard don't have a lot to work with. Emerin swings, gets taken down. Milo does trade, but he himself will also be taken off the board. Rhythm to take round 1.
Yeah, caught me by surprise a little bit. I mean, I did put the emphasis on Vinny's position at the back of kids and being able to, you know, look towards Pit and maybe find a kill or two. Wasn't able to do that. Full credit to Ghoul. Pushes in, gets the kill onto Vinny. Then they've got full kids control. They've got attic control and Pit. And that's basically where I guess Rhythm was able to then win the round based off of that. So you have to kind of ask the questions there for Wildcard. Maybe why is there not that follow-up onto Vinny's death a little bit sooner? To get kids control, but full credit to Rhythm late into the round. I thought maybe it was going to fall away from them, Guz, but they pulled through.
Yeah, there are a couple of key mishaps there for Wildcard. Vinny not winning that critical engagement as they entered in from Pit in towards that rotate was quite costly, and then unfortunately Moloska down below either going off a sound cue and was just off the mark, or the cue from a teammate was off as well. Not quite Nitro selling the correct spot. He even then tried to deny it with shotgun holes from down below, and that also didn't quite find the planter. So yeah, a couple of key mistakes there from Wildcard. Rhythm doing a good job in capitalizing. I as well was a little bit concerned the fact that they were stacking that position. It was going to be tough for them to take the round, but hey, they made it work. They get the first round, and as Vaz said, it's probably more important on the hands of Wildcard here, especially on the defense, to not allow rounds to leak early in this matchup. We saw it.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Well, we have seen it in the past from Wildcard, and it often proves costly. So they want to try and buck that trend, and
defuse a bomb.
Rhythm, probably aware of that, will be looking to apply as much pressure as possible.
Yeah, and without harping on Dorms too much, it's always a good site to win here if you Rhythm nice and early. Get a couple of those sort of sites under your belt. Now you head down for Laundry Supply, which is typically where, you know, the defenders would go for the opening round, and Wildcard elected not to. They get punished. Now they head down here for the second round. But one thing to note, and obviously I was not able to watch yesterday's matches, but something that we've seen a little bit more of for Oregon is the attacking teams being able to open up Laundry Supply compared to Stage 2 and Stage 1 to a degree as well. So looking to Rhythm here, if they can find a second round in a row, you know, not the best start for Wildcard there, so they're going to need to bunker down, find an early pick, make it difficult for Rhythm to sort of overwhelm the site.
Minute into the round, and Rhythm still ascertaining control up above. Wildcard are all down below. Blue extension, as well as some pressure on the rear stage stairs. Could catch the attack off guard, but I can only assume that with this time taken, Rhythm are playing quite cautiously. Drex is working the freezer hatch. Now, we'll have to see if he works anything else. This would suggest a freezer push and maybe Laundry. Of course, 5-man stack in this position probably won't work out, so again, we'll just have to see how Rhythm shape up. That might have to work.
Not necessarily. I think, you know, this is just pretty standard opening up most of your options, right? Especially when you got AFX on the Flores. Now, this does actually now sort of suggest, yeah, freezer. Because if Rhythm wanted to, they could have rotated, say, over towards Blue Bunker late, used the Rotera drones to sort of clear out Elbow, clear out Pillar, and then make that push from there late in the game. So, yeah, definitely seems like Laundry Freezer is going to be the play here, as Drex is going to get to work on this meeting hatch as well. Minute left. Once again, kind of like the opening round, right on the time management side of things. They're kind of just bang on, right? They can't really stall out from here. Just got to keep going.
Yeah, pretty straightforward so far. No Kaye does allow the lobby hatch to be popped as well, so that's a potential entry point for Ghoul, who does have that diffuser in hand. Emo, with the shotgun in hand, looking to play close range. An aggressive position here, if any good support on the swing. Tries to clear that Rotero drone, I think he missed it, not too sure. Yeah, that explodes, so it was a miss. 30 seconds on the board now.
Not going to make too much of a difference, though. That's just to open up a bit more of a pathway here. And Imarin actually holding this freezer position, making life very difficult for Rhythm, especially considering that they're very much now going to be committed to this push. AFX did get that elimination, but Imarin had already done his job. He got that down. Now they're getting the kills to follow up. So this is something that they weren't able to do in the opening round on Dorms. Follow up on these deaths, follow up on these kills. Wildcard. That was pretty clean. Rhythm just a little bit too one-dimensional there with that freezer push.
Yeah, and in terms of dimensions or points of attack, honestly, it really wasn't that much different from the first round. I think the main difference was that Wildcard probably played a little bit more aggressive. You had Emo in, for example, go for that initial swing, and just across the board, players were winning critical ones. And again, that's pretty basic analysis, and there was a lot of work done there by Wildcard to apply pressure and really leak the clock to make those ones a bit more difficult for Rhythm. But that was a stark difference to the first round, where they really didn't allow anyone at all to get site control or apply any meaningful pressure. And in fact, every death there from Wildcard was eventually traded. So a stark contrast to round one, and a sign that, you know, maybe this start won't be as slow for them as maybe we initially thought. They'll go back above, so backing themselves, in fact, to actually now win out this side.
Well, is it necessarily backing themselves to win this side? That, like, when we think about Oregon, what are the other options? It's basically Kitchen Meeting, which doesn't always have the best success rate. And Dorms is going to be the site that typically is sort of second in line and where you're going to see a lot of plays. So it's not so much about maybe backing themselves to win it. It's more so like, all right, we have to win it, right? Like, it's not a matter of a choice. They have to win Dorms a couple of times if they're going to win the map. And obviously the good thing is, having already, I guess, you know, played it in the first round, yeah, they lost it, but they can get a bit more of an understanding as to maybe how Rhythm are going to play this. Although it's not like they did anything too special, open up games, push through Attic. That's what made, I guess, that loss for Wildcard so surprising. Rhythm really didn't do anything that amazing.
Yeah, I'd be interested to understand the thought process here from Wildcard. They're electing to play the Wamai over the Jaeger. I guess you can place those magnets in some more difficult to reach positions. Could be harder to clear for the attack, but most times in competitive, Jaeger will be the preferred option. So I'm keen to see exactly where Vinny actually decides to play. Outside of that, nothing too unusual. I guess Milo over at rear stage might be a little bit spicy.
Yeah, it's a bit different.
Playing the stairs position, looking to try and get an opening pick, or at least take down some drones. Does back off though a little bit, playing cautiously, not wanting to give away his life. There we go, that's one drone down. And honestly, off the back of that, he can just fall off, and that's 2 less available from Rhythm already.
See, it doesn't seem like he did much, but he gets a drone. Okay, even that, who cares about that? It's now that perceived pressure on Rhythm around Big Tower. Suddenly, you've got to check every corner. Suddenly, you've got to check every angle. Obviously, it depends. AFX actually pushing through this pretty quickly despite that pressure, but still nonetheless, I like it from
another drone down
from
as well,
Maloska.
by the way.
Yeah, and there's another one. So this is a really good start for Wildcard defensively, just being actually a little bit more offense.
Yeah, and that does mean that Drek's now working the ball a little bit delayed compared to the round 1 efforts.
It's getting there, though.
Yeah, shouldn't take too long. Full map tricking the wall as opposed to making the crouch hold, which is a little bit unusual. Most teams would elect to just create the crouch hold, but it's basically personal preference. You're not really going to need that fuel elsewhere, more so of a time-saving measure and a little bit safer to enter. Either way, that's a bit of a nitpick. The rest of the team, they're working the trophy side of the map. In fact, yeah, they're going to double it up for Rotero to open that up. So nice use of utility there from Rhythm and an entry point now. Pit not being monitored by the defense, it's a little bit more passive here. Again, Vinny playing behind that deployable shield deep inside of Kids. He's going to be the defender to watch. He's in a key position to push back this execute. And Milo down below on the vert as well, quite important.
50 seconds remaining here in the 3rd round. In a very pivotal match between these two teams. Milo down below in kitchen. Of course, this is a very, very important position to hold the vert control, but most importantly, when that push does come through from Attic, he needs to be able to help out Vinny, who is at the back of Kids, and Milo does find that kill onto Leb. That's going to ease the pressure immensely.
Yeah, and it also means that Milo now can support Vinny from down below. This push from Rhythm going to be very, very challenging. Emo is low and has a deep angle, clear him out, and maybe it will.
And he's got that shield. He didn't have it in the opening round. Vinny still with that deployable shield and back inside of the gas smoke, able to get that kill onto Ghoul. It's falling apart a little bit here for Rhythm. Trades go out back and forth. Drax and AFX both low though, and still in a 2 versus 3 disadvantage. Make it 1, make it none. Wildcard will take the 3rd round.
Yeah, and that round really just illustrates how a couple of key pieces to the defensive puzzle, if they stay up, it can be so difficult for the attack to actually go for an execute and untangle that. Highlighting Vinny's deployable shield there, really, really important. It meant that a player basically had to hold that position and couldn't push with the rest of the team, and it fortified Vinny's location. Yes, he did eventually die, but the rest of the team desperately trying to find something in that round weren't really supported as well as they possibly could have been. We saw Games not really exposed to much pressure, and saw Pat in that smoke, for example, the gas babe, do some really nice work. So a good response there from Wildcard. They're able to tidy up that defense a little bit. And maybe a sign in that round that Rhythm maybe not able to adapt as nicely as they'll need to against Wildcard. If your plan of attack can't work out because you don't clear a certain piece of utility or a certain player's in a position that you're finding difficult to clear, that's when we see better teams really adapt and work out how they're going to fix that problem. But on that occasion, Rhythm unable to achieve that.
I think the other thing to also take note is the last time these two teams played, it was a 5-1 defensive half to Wildcard. And then Rhythm themselves had a 5-1 defensive half. So, you know, we always need to see sort of 2 sides of the story here. It's not exactly over. It's very early days. But I do agree with the sentiment that for Rhythm's sake, it's not quite been a team that's looking to adapt with their attacks and with their play style. It's been very one-dimensional, pretty standard. Stock standard, probably the best way to describe it so far from Rhythm. We'll see how they go here on Kitchen Meeting as Wildcard look to do the World Tour over the last couple of rounds now.
Yeah, quite an aggressive extension facilitated up above with reinforcements, that deployable shield in Addict as well. Wildcard looking to play off that hatch as opposed to reinforce it off. Now, they could have done that, right? They could have bought the Kaid, reinforced the hatch, and forced that Maverick play, and maybe even just forfeit above completely. But Wildcard are backing themselves in here. Oh, Dragos narrowly misses that pick in towards Trophy as Wildcard look to deny more time. Keen to see if this pays off, though. some of these key hitters like Molosca will need to step up. Geo, one of those said hard hitters already off the board.
And that's not ideal in a situation where you're playing that vert position above, because you have to commit a player or two to that sort of play, that sort of position. As you mentioned before, if you bring the Kaid, you can do it in a bit more of a passive manner with the Electric Claw. Throw it up, make sure, okay, yeah, it's going to buy some time. He'll eventually open it up, but it means that we've got a player somewhere else. Wildcard now losing Geo. They can't really forfeit the position, though. It'll be too vulnerable. Minute 45, they need to maybe find a pick somewhere back, and they're able to do it through Vinny.
Rotero is no longer in play now. Molosca aggressing on towards that breach, and I think Vinny might be available for a bit of a pinch. Milo droned out. Drago's looking to try and get aggressive. With top white reinforced off, he can progress forward, but needs additional support. Drex trying to offer that as Drago does push in deeper. There we go. A great shot from Drex to find that pick. Emo elsewhere, taken off the board.
Wow.
Vinny as well, and Pat's in the 1v4.
They just get picked apart basically off-site here this entire match so far.
Ooh, Kit.
That's pretty big. Kit's down on the floor, courtesy of Pat now in a 1 versus 2. Good information, obviously, on the diffuser, but in terms of information on Drex and Drago as well, remains to be seen. And he does get droned out there. Still actually quite a couple of drones available. Dragos has got 2, in fact. Just under a minute left. Pat, if he gets pressured here, may go down. In fact, he is definitely going down. Rhythm will take this round, make it 2-2.
Yeah, once again, much like round 1, Rhythm doing a really good job in clearing out those power positions and converting the round. A valiant effort, of course, has to go to Pat there. Managed to find the 2K. Trying to play off that diffuser, just couldn't quite find enough coverage there. A bit of an awkward position that he found himself in, but the likes of Jex, for example, great clear there. And the rest off screen that we didn't quite capture, really strong as well from Rhythm. Good job in closing it out as well. And yeah, maybe that tertiary site for Wildcard isn't really going to work out. They're probably not going to play it again unless we go to OT and they want to spice things up. It's going to be basement for the next round, and then I would only assume dorms after that. Yeah,
and it continues to go back to why we put such an emphasis on dorms, because you mentioned that we may not actually see Kitchen meeting again from Wildcard's defensive side, at least until OT. That means they only play it once for an entire game, so obviously there's not much of an emphasis on that site. It's a nicety if you can win it, sure, that's nice, but it's not a necessary site that you need to win. But this is, in fact, though, for Wildcard, 2 very important rounds coming up here defensively on Oregon. It's 2-2 at the moment, and this can fork either way, really. The Rhythm find a way to really close out this opening half, do well on the offense, then go onto their defense, or can Wildcard find a way to gain that lead going into the second half?
5 seconds left.
The Ella once again committed to here by Emo, so I can only assume he's going to play that shotgun aggressively once again inside of Freezer. Just trying to work out how aggressive
this might be Blue Bunker.
Playing. It could be. They did have a pre-placed drone there, Rhythm, from
They are
throwing
heavily
this out. They could try and go for something. Pat and Emo, the only 2 on site. Milo does have a presence over towards Big Tower, though, so it would be risky. And I think that window of opportunity, if it ever was there for an aggressive play through Blue, probably gone now for Rhythm, unfortunately.
A lot of utility, of course, always committed to that elbow position. You got those Rotero drones. It is pretty easy to sort of clear it out, force that Rio, and then take over Blue Bunker control. But very early on into the round, and you're going to want to at least head elsewhere, open up Freezer, Laundry perhaps. If you are going Blue Bunker, then you're also going to need to establish backstairs control and gain control of Pillar 2. But the way that Rhythm continue to loiter around outside Blue Bunker, guys, it continues to fill me with belief that this is their plan.
We've seen these Roteros be so potent from Rhythm so far, and a great one from AFX will clear that Tarps or Brick's shield, whichever you call that you wish to give it.
Oh, that might get everything.
Drop Drex. That is a hard breach off the board. That's going to put a lot of pressure now on Ghoul, and it does mean that these hatches could be tricky to get open. In fact, you need 2 summons to open one of them, so Rhythm now really need to prioritize their utility. What hatch, if any, do they really need open here? And this is, again, where they're going to be tested. Can they adapt on the fly? If Maverick dies, what's your backup plan?
You can still gain elbow control, use one of the Selma charges to create sort of that sight line looking towards Freezer, and then you can push in from pillar onto sight. So it's still very much in play here for Rhythm. It's not totally out of it because they don't have Drex. It's fine. They do need to clear out Pat though, and he's holding on for a little while here. Minute left. Ghoul actually going to get taken down. Now that is a player you do not want to be losing. That is your hard breach on the floor right now. That is also the diffuser on the floor. And that's Pat still with elbow control. He has not given it up. Dragos though towards pillar. He's found two down the corridor. He gets a third. What a little shot on Tahima and Ted. Wow, 3 inside 3 seconds, and suddenly it's a 3 versus 2 advantage for Rhythm. Pat really making sure that they don't get elbow. Vinny needs to get involved from Laundry.
Such awkward positions, and Drago's rather still playing hallway monitor. Pat close with the shotgun. Not much utility left to clear him out as Love goes for the plant.
17 seconds. Pat, has he got anything to stop this? He'll have to swing out. He loses immediately. It's a quad for Dragos. Can he get the ace? No. AFX will find the final kill of the round. Rhythm. They absolutely salvaged this one. It looked like they had no real shot. They lost the initial hard breach. Then they lost their second hard breach. He was on the floor. I thought, that's it, Guz. There's no way. They can't open up the sightlines that they will need to open up. But Dragos just goes bang right here at Pillar. 2 immediately down the corridor to Moloska and Geo. And from there, they were able to win their ones.
Yeah, super duperly well played. I can't even think of the words. Really well done. I was waiting to be able to highlight the fact that once Pat was under pressure, he made a really critical call there, and someone from E-Box, didn't quite see who, was able to swing wide and actually get that down onto Ghoul. And at that point, I was like, yeah, they're locked out. Rhythm aren't really going to be able to do anything here. And then Dragos with that huge play out of absolutely nowhere, catching 2 players off guard, and then the third. Really, really nice stuff. If it wasn't for him, no chance for Rhythm to be able to take that round. Now they have the lead. And again, as you mentioned, in this head-to-head between these two, historically has been very, very defend-decided. So Rhythm in a great position. Even if they lose this round here in 3-3.5, I think they'd be pretty pleased.
And once again, for the third time in this opening half, we head upstairs to Kids' dorms, where it's currently 1-1 between these two teams. I would still give the edge to Wildcard, though, on dorms, simply because I don't think Rhythm's really done anything too amazing. It's been very one-dimensional, push through attic, open up games. Well, that's it. And for Wildcard, defensively, I mean, that's really the easiest way for them to be able to deal with it. They'll have the 1 below again, probably in kitchen, keeping security bot white control, and just force Rhythm up above to push through.
And Wildcard really, really want to be winning this round. A lot of pressure riding on this matchup. Both of these teams under serious threat, finishing in the bottom 2 for OCN 2021 and then exposing themselves to that relegation run to retain their position. And some pretty fierce competition in OCL hunting down those spots. We've already seen Overt, for example, jump in stage 3 and already make a bit of a mark. So we know that the competition level might not be that far off some of these teams in OCN. So again, such a big matchup and a big round here for Rhythm, looking to gain a 4-2 lead on a map that historically between these two has been defender-sided. Top 4 has been 1-1 so far, the head-to-head for these two teams. On the first occasion, Rhythm able to take Kids control and convert the round win, but on the second time, Wildcard able to lock them out. And honestly, in terms of setup and op composition, it's basically the same as what we've seen so far. Very, very similar. So I'm expecting the round, honestly, to play out pretty similarly again.
Once again, for the third time, around the same sort of timely mark here for Rhythm, opening up this attic wall. Then in 10 seconds, and this is basically playing out. It's deja vu right now. A couple of Nitrocells on the side of Wildcard. They're going to need to hit their mark and find a pick at some point when Rhythm do eventually make this push. Remember, with that Evil Eye, though, can at least help out Vinny at the back of Kids. Imagine we'll have that deployable shield and he's just going to have to hope and pray. In fact, he loses it early. Think back to the last time we had this sight, Guz, and that deployable shield was there the entire time. Doesn't have it with 40 seconds to go.
Yeah, those were my magnets not really doing their job there and unable to protect that deployable shield. Now, Wildcard critically have 2 down below, 2 C4s, Milo and Geo. Drex is likely going to try and go below and clear these players. Could be a critical engagement in 30 seconds.
Oscar, he's looking a little too high. Drex, though, doesn't quite get the swing that he wanted actually from Oscar to do. In this case, now Drex is probably in the position where he needs to push forward into Kitchen. 15 seconds left in this final round of the opening half. 1-1 trade in the kill feed. Dragos again, he's 8-2. Playing amazing right now in his new team. Ghoul's going to be able to stick this diffuser inside of Kids. No one being able to stop him here, so he gets it off. It's a 4 versus 1 now. Leb's got 2 in the round. Maloska down below in Kitchen. Unsuccessful this time. Last time he was successful down below with the vert play. Guz, this time, no real impact. Rhythm are going to establish themselves a 4-2 lead going into the second half.
Milo taken down. What a half from Rhythm. A 4-2 lead. They'll be absolutely ecstatic with that result so far.
Fantastic opening half from Rhythm. For Wildcard, though, they've got some contemplation to do, Guz. They've called a tactical timeout to extend this halftime break. And honestly, I would agree with this one. 3 losses in a row, or 3 round losses in a row to Rhythm. They are on the ropes a little bit here. 4-2, that was their defense on Oregon. This is as bad as you can really expect.
Cat cam. Oh, it's out of frame now. The cat cam. Maybe, was it a black cat? Isn't that a sign of bad luck? Is it? Oh, is it that? No, that's if it's like crossing a road or something, right?
I've got no idea what you're on about.
Okay.
Stick to Siege, Guz. Stick to Siege.
Yeah, it's about the only thing I'm good at, so you're not wrong there. Yeah, it's been a bit of a weird matchup. Yeah, that again, it always comes down to dorms at the end of the day. Rhythm with a 2-1 record on that site, and Wildcard doing a very similar setup for most of those rounds. In that last attempt, they did double down below with the roam and seemed to have limited effect. Again, I think the main point of interest on that site, on all 3 attempts, was Vinny inside of Kids. And for whatever reason, that shield
every time
was doing a really bad job at being held properly. Now, I don't know how it was taken down necessarily in that most recent attempt. I think it was a projectile from the Kids window. Again, I would have to watch it back just to be 100% sure, but those were my magnets. Honestly, they were pretty useless. They weren't really doing their job very well. And with that vert control down below, it wasn't taken down from Kitchen. So, yeah, a bit of a mistake there, I think, from Wildcard. Rhythm doing a good job in reading into that play and eventually finding a good way in countering it. And they'll be happy. The 4-2 lead, really, really big.
Bit of a shaking of the head from Vinny a few times there and scratching of the eyes. It's a tough one because in a way, that was his position 3 times and basically failed twice. It's never a good feeling when you're sort of maybe the entry point, or maybe considered the weak point, where for Rhythm's sake, it's like, all right, we're going to get rid of that shield, we're going to kill Vinny at the back of Kids, we're going to plant Kids. That's the plan. They did it 3 times. Worked twice, didn't work once. And the only reason why it didn't work that one time is because the shield actually stayed up and did its job. So made Vinny's life a lot easier. But as you mentioned, for whatever reason, the other 2 times, that shield just went down far too easily and far too early. The other part of it as well, for Wildcard defensively, they never had any sort of pit control at any point. They never tried to put any shields there. They didn't really try and deny Rhythm that area. It was basically like, right, they open up Attic, they push through Attic, and they get full control of pit.
Yep, stark contrast from Rhythm. And as Vas mentioned in the pre-show, we are going to see, that bedroom extension led with a Nitro reads into Milo's swing as a good opening pick, and it means that Buck is off the board, making some of that vert play more challenging. I'm keen to see how Wildcard deal with this setup. If they've done their research, if they even watched a little bit of the game last night, they should be aware of this setup and have some sort of at least basic idea on how they are going to deal with it. Do they try and take it head on and clear it? Do they focus their efforts on white stairs and double window, which might be able to negate this setup from Drex? I'm not entirely sure, but it is quite a menacing setup to try and take.
Well, it definitely seems like here for Rhythm, it's like they've understood. Recently, we're seeing a lot more pushing coming on through games and Attic. So let's put the pressure there. Let's maybe force Wildcard to head over to, say, bot white. Oh, but you do that, we've got two players sitting inside of security. So we've still got bot white control. So where do you actually go then if you Wildcard? Then it's looking like big window. But if you've got big window and nothing else, you probably don't have much of a round. So I think Rhythm setting up here, obviously, in a, as you said before, very stark contrast to sort of Wildcard. And that's probably why we're seeing Wildcard just loitering around in Armory Corridor, trying to open up some horizontal sight lines here into bedroom.
Yeah, I like that from Geo. He does expose the weakness of this defense, which is that wall on the Armory stairs, unable to really be held by the defense, and it means that Drex can't play safely behind the bed. Will retreat to the closet, and in fact, I think reinforce himself. Not entirely sure, but there we go. Emo top white, not being held by the players inside of security. Ghoul will swing and try and trade it back, but Emo doubles down. Could even find a third here onto Leb, who desperately needs to find something back for his team.
That, I'm puzzled. You got two players sitting around security and top of Freeze's stairs, and you've just both allowed that top white stairs position to be taken by Wildcard. I mean, that's a big whiff from Rhythm here defensively. That should not have been able to happen. Drex is probably wondering, why am I getting shot from top white? How have we allowed this to take place?
Yeah, 100%. And Wildcard now can really shape up. They've only got 15 seconds to do so. Need to be mindful of this flank. Nomad was on the board, and Vinny does have an air jab on these stairs, but it can be shot out.
Rhythm have been good, though, in the franking department so far in this match, but not so much in this particular round. Lendo comes in with the flank at the last second. 3 for the round, makes it a 2 versus 2. Not much time here for Wildcard either, and Pat to get it down. He's got no time at all. Rhythm through Leb. Now make it a 5-2 lead, and almost like the first half in a couple of those rounds, guys, where Rhythm looked kind of out of it, they still just clutch up big.
Really well played by Leb. What a flank.
Yep.
He is the reason that they won that round. You could argue that he was one of the reasons Wildcard got an in on the round due to that security hold not really working out. But a great work there. Really good patience in clearing out the air jab and then going up the stairs and finding those kills one by one. He didn't get overly excited. He did his job. And with that diffuser down, was able to hold that position. Now, looking at that from the Wildcard perspective, you have to raise the question for Vinny's perspective, that air jab placement, is that really overly reliable? Now, I know you had to place one on the stairs because you had that breach opening towards the bedroom, but it was really exposed, and it didn't seem like Leb had any issues at all in clearing it. He just made sure that his approach was nice and slow, and it meant that he didn't hit it. And honestly, even if he did, and Wildcard kind of had an inkling he was coming from that position, they were kind of not set up very well to even be able to counter that with that diffuser drop that the game's breach. So they kind of, I guess, really capitulated in the final stages of that attack, and Rhythm doing a good job in shutting them down. And 5 rounds, we know that's always critical, right, Jake? If you win the next one, you get match point. That's at least overtime and at least 1 point secured, and that's so important for this matchup.
Yeah, and I think at this point it even goes beyond that, right? It's just the fact that it's now 4 rounds in a row to Rhythm, and the way that they're winning these rounds and the way that they're playing. They're sharp. I mean, Dragos is insane, apparently. 10-2. Hello, welcome to OCN. I didn't get to see his debut yesterday, but nonetheless, I feel like I'm getting to see it maybe again here tonight. But still for Rhythm, this has just been impeccable. Ghoul now top a big tower hold with the ADSs. This is something, again, we didn't see from Wildcard. We've seen it from other teams, but they didn't do it. They never employed these sort of strategies to buy time. The only time we ever saw any sort of big tower annoyance was Milo once getting rid of that drone and just buying like 20 seconds.
Yeah, this is classic Ghoul. He did this against Wildcard last time they played. He did it last night as well. And it was incredibly successful. A lot of teams just drained their util and failed to even clear him. Drop members in the process. Wildcard, honestly, might be a little bit scared of that and may elect to not even take him on at all. Pat does take on AFX, finds an open pick here. Critically, it's the Wamai, means that no more magnets can be put in play. I don't even know how Pat found that kill. Currently on the roof, so I assume he just shot through one of the windows in tower. Okay. In fact, it's actually inside of attic, so I can only assume from there that it was from bedroom or something like that, as the wall has been busted open. But either way, a really good opening pick for Wildcard. That's something they can now work off and try and mount their attack off.
I don't think losing AFX is going to be that big of an issue. Yeah, sure. the longer he stays alive, he gets more of the Wamai discs. But I think that there's more to win from disadvantages too much in this match, right? What's a 4 versus 5 for them on the defense? Minute and 20 seconds. They haven't quite been able to deal with Ghoul anyway. So I'd still say this is pretty par for the course right now. I don't think Rhythm are in a bad spot just because they're down a player. They've already forced Wildcard over towards Big Window, for instance. And Dragos has still got Vert control down below.
I don't want to make this assumption because it's probably wrong, but there might even be a chance that in that small window, their Wildcard actually didn't know that the objective was down below.
Kitchen meeting, yeah.
Again, could be wrong. So again, don't want to make that assertion, but
wait, there's no way they don't.
I think they're just trying to clear above. Surely that's
they're
probably
just
the
clearing
play here.
above.
They know that there's Vert, so yeah. I don't want to, again, cast too many assertions here. Wildcard surely would be making those kinds of mistakes, but Vinny does. The Vault there punished by the Alibi. A great pick there. 11 and 2 for Dragos. Emo in with the nade up above towards Kids. Again, still trying to clear this defender. Challenging times for Wildcard as that player rotates back down. 20 seconds left on the board.
If they don't get this player in Kids, then they're not going to be able to get this plant down in Kitchen safely at all. It's just not going to be able to happen, and they're obviously not going to be able to open up meeting now. It's just too little too late to go for that, and unfortunately for Wildcard here, time is definitely against them. Ghoul with that elimination onto Geo. It's now a 2 versus 2. Ghoul's got 2 in a row very quickly in quick succession. Pat, though, time against him. Ghoul in a 1 versus 1. He knows he just can hold the sprint button, head on over, W key, left click, made a bit of a meal of it, but that's okay. He gets the job done. He gets match point for Rhythm.
Really well played there from Ghoul. Such a nice line of sight through that rotation in towards security. And Wildcard, I don't know why they didn't quite do it. Didn't enter anyone from dying. They filtered through security and everyone just lined up for Ghoul. Free pickings, he'll take that. And he does a really good job in closing it out in the end. In the dying second or two there was an opportunity for Pat to get off that plant and maybe clutch up, but he wasn't able to pull it off. Rhythm now with match point. Huge. They currently lead the head-to-head for the potential battle between these two for the relegation spot. We know that Overt are basically guaranteed, and it's a battle between these two to stay in the league.
Are they though? I don't know anymore. There's a chance maybe. I think I saw a graphic somewhere.
There's a very small chance that Border maybe, but
if
at the end of the day,
like
the
top
most
3?
Yeah, if Overt make top 3 and like Wildcard, like completely bum out or something. But
I mean,
for the sake of my story, like just go with my fairy tale, please. Rhythm, Wildcard, they're the 2 at risk, and they're the 2 going head-to-head. And Rhythm, honestly, are looking like the team that are going to be closing out this game.
Yeah. That's going to leave Wildcard and Order in the bottom 2 with 3 Playdays to go. That is crazy. Absolutely crazy. For 2 teams we thought would be sort of rebounding in stage 3. Instead, they're just further capitulating. For Wildcard, this is a disaster, especially considering against the team that they're trying to compete against to avoid relegations. And for Rhythm, of course, they are actually playing like a team that wants to avoid relegations, guys. They're playing like a team that's got everything to play for, and that's why they're up 6-2. For Rhythm, then, they play Order next week. That's suddenly not that difficult of a matchup.
Yep. What a wild stage this is shaping up to be, and so far this has been a pretty crazy match. Rhythm genuinely outplaying their opponents at the moment. We'll have to see whether or not Basement is more successful. You can only assume that it probably will be the way this match has played out so far. Now, there's no Kaid on the board. That does mean that with Thermite available, Wildcard shouldn't have too many issues with hatches here, and in fact, it should be a little bit faster than it actually was for Rhythm, meaning that they can invest resources and time elsewhere. What kind of setup will they actually go for? Well, Wildcard over towards Big Tower would suggest that rear stage and Blue Bunker will be the play. It looks like some of these remaining Wildcard players elsewhere, though, just making sure the roam is clear and can set up some Vert to cut off those rotations. And I mean, talk about the roam. There actually are some players inside a meeting.
Decently efficient so far from Wildcard on the roam. Opening up this meeting wall. Nice headshot from Emerin. Some good signs here from Wildcard momentarily. But has the damage already been done? That's the real question here. You can have a couple of good rounds, make it a respectable scoreline, but in the grand scheme of things, I think maybe the nail has already entered the coffin. Still, We've seen comebacks before, and if they can make it 6-3, definitely not impossible. But with Rhythm being on the defense here for Oregon, it's going to be a long way back for Wildcard. And can they even close out this round? It's not a given. Rhythm's been pretty good in the clutch late rounds, even at a disadvantage.
Yeah. Just can never be too sure with Wildcard at the moment. Now, they do have 50 seconds to just shout out here and make sure they pull this off. They need to clear Drex from this blue position. The blue shield facing the attack and 2 ADS devices covering this position. The Iruni Gate burn and 2 flashbangs sent in will be able to burn those devices. Pat follows it up with Trade Grenade. Will it hit the mark? Not quite, doesn't do any damage, but will force Drex off that position. Now reinforced off. That leaves 30 seconds available. Now Dragos is going to be the next player under the pump. Drone out. That player on rear stage going to swing, but it's a flashbang from Vinny. Gets punished. Leaves it in the 3 versus 4, and that time economy is looking poor for Wildcard.
It's been such a rough game from Vinny. 1 and 8. One to forget for him. Maybe now also opens the door here for Rhythm. 8 seconds again. Time an issue here for Wildcard, but this time they're able to hit their shots. Drex though, could it be the thorn on the side? No. Wildcard get around back. And they stop this streak and momentum of Rhythm at 5 rounds in a row. Now it's 6-3.
Started to look a little bit dicey there for Wildcard. I got a little bit worried there, especially Drago's there finding that first pick. Vinny unfortunately was caught out with the flash. But yeah, Wildcard did eventually dismiss that. Close out the round. Now they still need to find 3 more to head us to overtime, and that means that they'll need to attempt above once more. Saw them struggle last time. Well, actually, no. They did okay in the mid-round, and then Leb flanking up Armory Stairs managed to do quite a bit of damage. So if Wildcard can, I guess, persist with that mid-round aggression and get the job over the line in the dying seconds of the round and not falter to any flanks like they did last time, they should find a little bit more success.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Dorms, though, has been most definitely occupied by Rhythm the entire time here in Oregon. Only once they've lost it so far. We've seen it quite a few times. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 3-1. Pretty decent little record there for Rhythm here on Dorms. That's both on attack and defense. They've been successful. If anything, I think even their defense at the start of this second half really sort of highlighted where they are at compared to Wildcard and what they were able to bring to the table, because Wildcard's defense at Dorms was pretty poor. Rhythm's attack wasn't necessarily that amazing on it, but their defense was pretty good. So see how they're going to stack things up here for what is still match point. I definitely do not want to let Wildcard back into this one, though.
More aggression here over towards lobby from Rhythm. Can Wildcard maybe look to punish this? Drone sent out in towards Armory. Looking to find Drago's playing in this position, who again having quite a solid game, 12-4 thus far. It is again the extension from Drex in towards bedroom. Wildcard again, they did a pretty good job of clearing it last time and didn't really falter there. It was more so that flank watch that was lacking. So we'll have to see whether or not this setup is dismantled once more.
Yeah, and look, Wildcard have had some resurgences recently in finding form and being better than what they were in Stage 2. And this has been a little bit disappointing so far tonight, but it needs to be said that this match is not over. They can very much choose to fight this one out, bring it back to OT, and claw tooth and nail their way to a result. And it looks as if they can win this round, 6-4, suddenly it looks doable. That's 2 in a row. That's a bit of momentum. Maybe would it even force attack timeout from Rhythm if it does eventuate. Leb, though, down a classroom. Oh, he might catch here at the bottom of main stairs. He's actually going to get caught himself, though. The positioning, questionable there from Leb, just standing in the doorway.
Yeah, trying to play in a bit of a weird position to catch off any attackers entering in towards lobby, and in fact probably a little bit lucky to get away with his life. Now just prior to that, that position inside the bedroom was forfeited by Rhythm, allowing free passage for Wildcard. Leb taken off the board. Ghoul looking to try and support this position. Ime once again probing Bob White. Again, wanting to get that across to cut off the players inside of Kids, for example. 50 seconds now left. Molosca will continue to drone forward. Drex in a pretty difficult to clear position, but Closet is exposed and Gen Window Repel actually being played here. So he should be the next on the board to be taken down.
Drex holds his position. Talk
Oh my
about
God.
timing. The epitome of timing. When you look it up in the dictionary, you'll see a picture of Drex looking away. That is unfortunate, and it opens it up entirely for Wildcard to just push on in, take sight, find a couple of kills. Leb, after he got picked back up, finds an elimination onto Jira with that Nitro Cell. 20 seconds remaining in the round, but Pat is already on that diffuser, sticking it down. Ema has had an amazing game at the top of White Stairs. He finds two quick succession. The flank from Gaul, second time, but this time unsuccessful. Wildcard, 2 rounds in a row. They're bringing it back.
Yeah, and it's always a sense of deja vu. The last time these two played, it was in fact Rhythm that was the team to bring it back. It wasn't the defense, however, so Wildcard going for difficulty points here, style points if you would, trying to bring it back on the attack. Pretty clean round for the most part. Again, they dismantled, or at least negated that bedroom extension quite well. But Emo, once again, the star player, he was the MVP last night. He had a huge matchup on this map. Wildcard didn't even win last night. That's how big of a game it was from him. Same map, of course, Oregon. And once again, playing a pivotal role in that most recent round. Top white, such a powerful position. Vinny was on the double window, but he can't quite cover every single angle there on the cross. Yeah, Emo did a great job to show composure and find that double. If he doesn't, that diffuser would have been exposed, and in combination with the flank, honestly, the round probably would have unraveled. So really well played by him. Still a long way to go for Wildcard.
But it now puts a little bit of the mental pressure on Rhythm. I'm a little bit surprised they have not elected to take their tactical timeout at this portion. 2 rounds in a row for Wildcard. If they lose this round and it's 6-5, they must take it in the next round. I'll take it for them if they don't. Because you do not want to go to OT against Wildcard here after being up 6-2. That would just be a mental heartbreak for Rhythm. A team that has already had so much heartbreak in the past, a lot of 7-5 losses, for instance. At the very least, they've secured 1 point and secured OT, but realistically, they need to secure this match point, get all 3 points, and just give themselves a chance of avoiding relegations.
Now, if I've seen that correctly, meeting hatch was open, I think. Okay, so pretty aggressive extension here being committed to by Rhythm. AFX holding that position. Now that is interesting, right? Qayyid's available, and Hatch is not. Neither is Habana, so you would have thought Hatch play would be pretty pivotal, but I don't know, Rhythm, I guess, favouring that footprint on the map and forcing Wildcard to go for the roam clear and deny some of that time for the execute. Now, we'll have to wait and see just how effective that is. Milo already with decent control above, and no doubt will be able to assist this position. In fact, I think Attic Hatch as well is also open, so I don't know how the meeting player in AFX decides or is going to get out from that position. In fact, he's already rotated, so I mean, at this point, it is really simple. Wildcard just need to drone out meeting, make sure it's clear, but I don't know, they're taking their time. Oh. Milo though, oh, that's awkward. Metal Bars will protect Leb and reserve his life for now.
That's twice now, though. Leb's been cheeky on the roam and gets caught. Hasn't quite been successful. Don't mind it, though, when you go for those sort of plays. And this is where leaving that meeting hatch open might come back to bite Rhythm here. In fairness, though, of course, they know it's open, have that info, and they would be expecting Wildcard to be dropping down at some point. This does at least, though, mean Wildcard don't have to spend time on opening this hatch. For Pat, he can head elsewhere. And it seems, though, backstairs should be the play. Do I have anyone coming in from blue bunker? Yeah, there's the rotation now.
Yeah. Pat with the nades will probably be looking to get elbow. So you get burnt there by Milo with a flashbang. Jira and Pat to support, but the ADS device does catch one of those projectiles. The nade falls short there onto the shield, but fortunately for Wildcard, that position has been forfeited and reinforced off. There is a mute jammer though on that wall, so opening it will prove to be challenging. 15 seconds left means that probably they might be able to get across there with Pat. blowtorch, but Gia is going to struggle to get that wall open, and this execute will be tough.
They're going to struggle to even just get the plant down. There's still 5 up here for Rhythm. There's 7 seconds left. Dragos gets the opening pick. There's Diffuser down. That's the round. I mean, I don't even need to commentate from here. That surely is going to be the round. I don't understand. Well, either way, Rhythm take the win. A little bit slow going from Wildcard in the end, but Rhythm were not slow at all, Guz. They take all 3 points from this do-or-die matchup, and they just get a little bit of breathing room maybe in terms of promos, Rallos.
Ooh, a bit of an awkward ending to that match, and now Wildcard find themselves in a very awkward position. Relegation's now a serious threat pending the rest of the stage, of course, but this was a critical head-to-head. Rhythm showing up when it matters to get that dub.
Certainly so. Of course, they've got a little bit more work to do. It's not quite season over or anything like that. They can't just pack up shop. They probably need a couple more results to go their way, whether it's them getting points or hoping, of course, Wildcard don't get any more points. Still, they were able to get the job done tonight and get all 3 points against Wildcard. They would be kicking themselves that they hadn't been able to defeat Overt back in Playday 2. That may still come back to bite them, but hey, at least they were able to defeat Wildcard. I'll come straight to you first though, Vast. A very interesting game. It was all Rhythm all the way. They were up 6-2. Bit of a mini comeback from Wildcard, but then that last round, they just stalled out the time. They had literally 7 seconds when they went onto site.
Yeah, this whole game, I think it was literally just Wildcard battling against time. I just think that if Wildcard were just a little bit quicker in their mid-game, they would leave themselves with more time to be able to execute. And a lot of their small mistakes comes down to lack of time. Maybe it makes them rush. We saw Leb flank up Armory. I would expect Wildcard, being the team they are, I would expect them having a flank drone there. They had a person dead. I'd expect them calling out that flank. But I just think because they're leaving themselves with not much time, they're just rushing, making these small mistakes, and Rhythm are just punishing it really well.
Guys, we have to, of course, give full credit to Rhythm. They went on an absolute tear midway through this match. They won 5 rounds in a row between the first half and then going into the second half. And they looked amazing while doing it. Yeah, there was a couple of Wildcard mistakes. And yeah, Wildcard definitely did not look great tonight, except for Immorin, who completely popped off. But nonetheless, Rhythm looked really good in what they were trying to do here in Oregon. They looked like the team with the strats.
Yeah, and look, I'm sure Vars can probably comment on this more than I would be able to, as he was around last night, but from what I saw in glimpses, their setups, particularly on the defense, were literally like almost the exact same, right? Ghoul, tier 3, they had the bedroom extension, and sure, to some extent, Wildcard were actually doing a decent job in clearing those positions, but as Vast again highlighted, it was the amount of time it took, and their inability to cover flanks and a couple of thrown picks here and there, and a lot of those attacks really made life difficult. So yeah, Rhythm, again, full credits, they played really well, but Wildcard just played into their hands. And look, sometimes your opponent does that. You need to show the confidence and have the ability to win out games. And for once, Rhythm did. It started to look like it was slipping away, and we know that the Rhythm curse is the fact that they can never close out a win in regulation, but they did manage to battle that demon and defeat it.
Vast, does this come back a little bit to map choice for Wildcard's sake? They lost to Knights on Oregon last night, and now they've lost to Rhythm on Oregon tonight.
I think half of it definitely comes down to map choice. I mean, Rhythm played a really good game there. I was really impressed with their util clearing and their mini games. But I think Wildcard, I'm just not really a fan of their op lineup for Oregon. It's, as you guys were talking about it, they kind of chose the Wamai over the Jaeger, which is fine. But I think just having the Wamai protecting is just not enough. Rhythm seemed to be able to clear everything with heaps of time left. I would, Aruni, Jaeger, and Wamai was up. Rhythm were using a bit of Aruni as well. I wouldn't mind seeing Wildcard bring at least 2 of those kind of util denial ops. Rhythm were using the Flores quite well, but Wildcard were using the mute. And I also think on attacks, I find it really interesting. I noticed this the other night, and I wasn't really sure to comment it just yet, but I think tonight it's pretty clear. Wildcard using a lot of Buck and Sledge on Oregon. It's not a map that really offers a lot of vert. I mean, sure, there's that kitchen dining push they like to do where they do vert, but I think bringing Yana, bringing other ops, and just like sacrificing the Sledge and Buck for breaches, sure, you might lose a bit of time in opening certain stuff, but I think the value you get in util in other areas, Yana is like really powerful for like giving you more info You know, you can clear a Rooney. I'm not really sure why they're not running that, and I can only really guess that excuse me, I just choked on something. That they want, I don't know, they want to like be quick on entries or something like that. I'm not really sure. I think that's a bit of a mistake in my opinion.
Well, let's go and have a chat with Rhythm, of course. Ghoul coming on after the win. 2 wins in a row. Congratulations, Ghoul. It was a long time between your first win in a long time, of course, last night, but then 2 in a row. How's that? Just doubling up that quickly. It must be great for you guys as a team and the confidence you're able to gain from it.
Yeah, it's incredible. Honestly, I feel a bit bad for Novakes, to be honest, but getting 6 points in 2 days, that's something unheard of for us. Especially against a team like Wildcard. Yeah, Novakes was the problem. Glad he's gone, thank God. No, I love you, Nova. Please don't hit me after that. Yeah, anyway, especially against a team like Wildcard, a team that we've taken the 15 rounds like for the last 2 games, that felt good. You know, we could have closed that out 7-2. We let a couple of rounds slip. It is what it is. I kind of peaked when I shouldn't, and it's just how it is. But to come away with 3 points 2 days in a row, massive for us. Absolutely massive.
Yeah, look, Ghoul, I know we kind of spoke last night together. I have been kind of giving Rhythm a bit of, I've been saying a lot of negative things about Rhythm and not enough positives. So tonight I kind of want to change that. I think you guys had a really strong start. I was really impressed with your util clearing. You managed to get everything with really good time. I kind of want to talk a bit about that because I noticed you guys banned Goyo. Was the game plan coming into this game like, okay, let's ban Goyo and that should help our util clear, and if we're able to util clear everything, maybe we can beat Wildcard that way?
We came into it really expecting to ban Cade like we did last night, but Wildcard came out with the Habana ban, which actually stumped us a bit. We were discussing it before the game. We normally run the Habana over the map just because it streamlines the attacks a bit easier, makes it a bit faster, we get more time on the clock. But with the Habana ban and us like being forced to run Maverick anyway, there's no point banning the Cade. And we noticed that they run Goyo pretty much every single site, so we just thought like it's gonna hurt them more than it's gonna hurt us. So might as well just chuck it out there.
Yeah, I think it definitely did hurt them. You could clearly see it.
Yeah, it was
now,
pretty
Ghoul,
good.
I think it's probably. Yeah, probably realistic to say that heading to stage, right? It was a bit of a survival stage for you guys trying to avoid relegations. But, I mean, you've gotten 6 points. You're taking on Order next Playday, and honestly, they're not in the best form. Does that maybe change your outlook on this stage? Like, maybe we could actually go for that playoffs position?
Yeah, honestly, I was expecting it starting this season that maybe we had a chance coming into the playoffs. You know, after those first 2 games, it sort of dwindled a bit. But I keep telling you, like, you let the veto go our way, you're going to get slept. You know, stop taking us to Oregon. I beg ya. If you don't want to get embarrassed. But yeah, look, I've got a lot of respect for Order. I think they're a hard-working team. I love the players in there, especially the coach, Derpe, written right here, my boy. I think the game's going to be a barn burner once we come into it, but I think we can come away with it as long as we play as good as we did the last 2 days.
Cool, I'll give you the floor here. It's been 2 amazing days for OCN. What do you have to say for it?
Wait, shout out everyone who said I wasn't going to be back, yeah? How's this look? This ugly mug up on the screen. You watching me, brother?
Hey, Ghoul, your mum's knocking out the door, mate. Turn around.
Oh, is she? I told her today, if I'm being loud, just knock. Don't come in. It's all good.
she's going to tell you to go back to losing games rather than winning games at this rate.
Yeah, she's probably not too happy. I told her before this game, look, I'm sorry if I get loud. Just knock. Don't come in. I promise.
Well, hopefully for your sake, Mum's going to be upset next week if you can find another win against Order 3 in a row. That'd be great. Best of luck,
she's going to be
mates.
hyping to go out there.
Best of luck, mate, next week, and it was awesome to see you guys get another win.
Cheers, boys. Have a great night. Good luck for the next games. Catches.
A happy Ghoul and a happy day for
Made
Rhythm.
me feel happy. Honestly, the vibes from the bear were just electric.
Everyone's happy but Mum.
Yeah, true. It's just good. Honestly, it's just good from like a heart perspective to see Rhythm do so well because it has been so long, and I say it every time that Rhythm show inklings of promise. It's just been so long since we've seen Rhythm perform. You have to go way back to like the Kanga days when it was Worthy before Vast poached him and Pat before Wildcard poached him. So yeah, what a great turnaround. And honestly, I am backing them. I'm 100% picking them against Order next Playday, regardless of how Order do tonight. And I hope they make playoffs. I'm just going to say it, complete bias opinion. I hope they make the playoffs. I think they deserve it if they can really turn things around.
They've definitely had a rough run of things, especially back in Stage 2. But so far, Stage 3 has been a lot better for Rhythm. We're going to go to a break, though. Of course, when we come back, we've got lots more games for the rest of the night.